What's going on, everybody? Rob here. Today I'm going into this deep dive right here about the E85. Man, I've been getting slammed on it. This is like a Coca-Cola, Pepsi sort of thing right here, because the E85, the racers really love it, but the people that have to travel distance really don't. E85 gets a lot more octane, and when racers are drag racing with it, they have to dump a lot more fuel into their race car for it to get it. Now it combusts harder and it cools the engine actually, so it's better for them, although they have to dump a lot more gasoline in it. Now I went ahead and it's like, okay, if you got throw a bunch of leaves on a fire, poof, and it goes right. But then if you wanted to get a longer fire, you put the kindling on it and then it's a slower burn. Well, that's E85 for race cars versus the regular gas or regular fuel economy. So the octane, you're going to get more octane on E85 gasoline, but you're not going to get the longevity. Now, I put this in my van. I was running E85 for a while in my van, and then I switched over to top tier, and I use Textron in my top tier. So one of the benefits to the E85 gasoline is they say it runs cleaner, so it cleans your engine, right? But it cleans your engine to a point. One disclaimer: you're supposed to not, if your car is 2001 and older, you're not supposed to run E85 gasoline. Now, there's other countries that are switching to E10 or ethanol, in 10% ethanol in their thing, and they're really not liking it. So, but we've in America been running E10 for a long time already, but now we're switching to the E85 gasoline. Now, the E85 gasoline in 2001 and older models wasn't made. Those older cars weren't made for E85 gasoline. Their gas tanks were made differently. The rubber lines on their hoses were made differently. Their engines made differently, where they weren't made for the standard and the combustion of the E85 engine. So with these older model cars, they have to realize that they're going to go ahead and need I didn't even press play over here. They're going to go ahead and need to not run. They're going to have to pay. And one of the pumps I go to that says E85, so they got E85, they got E85 mid-grade, and then premium is the regular E10, right? So I was running the E85 for about 90 days. It seemed cheaper, but in the long run, it was costing me more money. So what happened was that before I worked at this gas station, I was just wherever gas station, anywhere I went to, I put any gas in there. So I go on trips, I travel, I do van life, and it's going to show that I was running 415 to 417 miles per tank, and I got a 31-gallon tank. 415 to 417 miles per tank on my regular travels, right? So then I switched to the E85 in my Chevy Express 1500 31-gallon tank, and then I started averaging 402 to 406 miles per tank. Okay, so that was a big drop, right? So now E85 is supposed to clean your engine to a point, right? It's going to get everything in there, although it could get stuck in your fuel injectors. It can get stuck in your, it's going to drain everything down to your oil pan. And there's one more place. Oil pan, and your fuel filter. So I'm going to have my fuel filter changed, and that's going to be another video, because I'm going to see what it burned into there. Now, people say, well, it's a natural burn, so it's better for the environment. But the manufacturing of it isn't as clean as people are thinking. So it's like a trade-off there, that you're thinking you're running it better, but they still have to manufacture it differently. So that's a trade-off right there. So the E85, the BTUs is like 6,937, and for regular gas, 6,858. But that's gonna be in the difference is in your mileage now. So like it says on my van, on a 31-gallon tank, I'm averaging 69 more gallons per tank on average. I'll probably get more than that because it's cold out here. So I do use my remote start a lot. So on my remote start, it takes away for your miles per gallon, and it takes away for your distance mileage, because it doesn't factor in that you just running there, right? So let compatibility check. You got to have it can only run basically if you got a yellow gas cap on your vehicle, you could run your E85, right? Because if you're an older vehicle, your computer's not going to match that E85, and it's going to not know it's E85, so your car is going to run a lot leaner. Flex fuel technology breakdown. You got larger injectors, you got an ethanol sensor, a modified fuel pump, real-time ethanol content analysis. So the fuel economy, basically miles per gallon on 93 octane, whatever vehicle is on averaging 37.5, E85 is 27.5. So here's where the corporate greed gets to me. This is where the corporate greed gets to me, because E85 gasoline should be cheaper. And in many states, E85 gasoline is cheaper than regular unleaded gasoline, right? So here's where corporate greed steps in. If you pull into a fuel pump and there's E85 and there's regular gasoline and they're the exact same price, that's corporate greed stepping in. So it just bothers me that that they would actually do that to the consumer, because like, hey, they're here anyways, they're just gonna get the unleaded, so let's just go ahead and put more ethanol in there. Let them get less miles per gallon. But if it's a some states have a big difference in gas price between E85 and a regular unleaded. So if it's that much of a big of a difference, it may benefit you. For people, it may benefit them that if it's that big difference, then they got to put gas in their car. Hey, go ahead and put it in. But for me, after I put the top 10 the Tektron Chevron, I put it in my vehicle to clean out my system, although I do have to change my gas tank. And then I switched to Shell. I'm using Shell. Top tier gasoline is Shell, Chevron, who else is it? Shell, Chevron, Exelon, Mobil. Those are top tier. BP, if your car says you have to run top tier gasoline, BP is not the top tier gasoline. They say they have everything to rate it, but apparently these companies have to pay to be classified as top tier, and BP says we stand alone. But if your car says you need top tier and you're running BP, you can't rate there. So either way, so now if you're running your race car, the injector is gonna have to dump a ton more gasoline in there. It's gonna go faster because you got higher octane, and it's gonna be cooler, right? But for the standard people that are driving, that are not race car drivers, it just makes sense to use the top tier gasoline because you're getting more miles per gallon. So, and also with top tier gasoline, they exceed the federal standards for the cleaners, for the everything, the detergents in it. And then if you go to non-top tier gas stations, they meet the minimum standards for cleaning your engine. So I know Shell has been doing me really good. Believe it or not, one time when I wasn't idling my van and I did a lot of expressway driving, my van actually said 530 miles for the tank. I've never had that much fuel range on my tank, but I got 530 miles per tank. So either way, that's my opinion. This E85 is going to be always a Coca-Cola Pepsi. And another thing for your E85, you're not supposed to run it in small engines. You're not supposed to run it in lawnmowers, ride in lawnmowers. You're not even supposed to run it in motorcycles. And I know people run it in motorcycles. So in my small engines, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I put premium gas in all my small engines, and now I'm going to start premium top tier gas in small engines. You set it over for the season, and the other stuff gums up. The injectors are too small, so I run stable fuel stabilizer all the time through my engine with top tier premium gas in all my small engines, and they start up every year. And people say you're supposed to store your small engines completely empty. That dries out your gas lines. You're supposed to leave it like almost full. This way no condensation breaks down, and then you got the you run the stabilizer through it already, so the stabilizer's all the way through everything. Everything's lubed up, and you'll start it okay. Try and think if I got anything else to say. I know some people are going to come back at me, and like, this is always going to be a Coca-Cola Pepsi thing. You're going to love it or you're going to hate it, but me as a traveler and a distance traveler, I will pay the difference for regular unleaded top tier gasoline. All right, either way, Comment down below, let me know what you think, and then we'll go from there in the next deep dive video about E85. And if my friends in a different country, in the US, we've been running 10% ethanol for a long time already, but now they're switching us to 15% ethanol. So if you do want to save money by using the E85 gasoline in a regular car, you're not going to get as much bang for your buck in it. And with top tier, if it's the same price as the other one, you get better detergents and better cleaning of your engine. So I'm going to do a video coming up, and in the video coming up, I am going to, when they change my fuel filter, we're going to take that apart. All right, talk to you later. Subscribe, like, and share.